with John Crowder. It is launch day, everyone. We are so excited at Invite Press to launch another book. Today's book is Anchor Point with my friend John Crowder. John, congratulations on the launch of your book.
Thank you. We're really excited about it. Been looking.
And you
forward
got your
to it.
copies, right? Did you get your copies in?
I did. I've
Okay.
got it.
All right. Very, very good. Very good. By the way, this cover is, we haven't talked about the cover, but by the way, the subtitle, How to Lead with Faith, Find Strength, and Rebuild with Hope After Crisis. We have a designer we've worked with a lot, Michael Buckingham. He designed this. It's funny because I didn't tell you this. I had this idea of kind of this black and white sense of like an explosion and then words coming out of the explosion. And he came back and did the exact same dang idea. And I was like, well, that was meant to be. So kind of cool, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. When I first saw it, I was impressed with just the imagery that says, there's chaos here, but we can figure out our way to bring some sense to it. And that's kind of the whole point of the deal. So I thought he did a great job.
Yeah. Let's just step back a bit for our viewers today as we're on this live Facebook show. We met first at an Ascent Movement gathering a little over a year ago, I guess now. Is that right?
That's right. And I appreciated your extra effort to come and visit with me there that day. I've been thinking about a book for about a decade, thinking on it and playing with it and kind of messing around, but I never found the way to make the connections that I needed to get the thing published or figure out how to move forward in that. And then I really think it was just God's timing that I was in the right place at the right time. I met the pastor of your church, and he connected us, and there we go. And I just really feel like that was God's timing in the whole thing.
Yeah. Arthur Jones, you're mentioning him. He came to me and said, "You've got to go talk to that guy." And he pointed to where you were at the table. So I was like, okay. And then we should tell too, since we've got people that maybe not be from Texas in the area. Here I'm in Plano. It's where Invite's offices are. St. Andrew Methodist Church, our founding church, and you're in West, just down the road, down I-35, a couple hours. So we've got this Texas connection, but being from Texas, I had always heard about, the explosion when it happened there and just the aftermath. So I was just really fascinated to hear about your story and just the trauma you went through and the leadership that happened there, just the impact of the ministry that you had in the town of West, following. So if you could kind of walk our viewers through a little bit about that backstory to what became the book.
Yeah, thank you. So April 17 of 2013 was a Wednesday night. Fire breaks out at what we always called the fertilizer plant. It's not a plant. They didn't manufacture anything. It's a storage facility. But the fire broke out about 7:30, and then about 20 minutes later, the fire caused the structure to fall in on itself, which caused a massive explosion. It was, the explosion that took out the Murrah building in Oklahoma City. Ours was apparently 12 times as powerful as that explosion.
Oh my goodness!
And so it destroyed about a quarter of our town and damaged another quarter. And of course affected everybody in one way or another. And so we didn't have a clue what we were doing and how to navigate forward. We called the Texas Baptist Men at the time. Now they are Texans on Mission, doing an amazing work. And they were our first phone call. What do we do? Where do we go? And they kind of helped guide us through. So the next year and a half or so, I'm working every day, all day, as hard as I can just to manage my family. We lost our home. And
you didn't tell me that part.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we lost our home. I moved 4 times in 6 weeks because we would stay at somebody's place and then we didn't want to overstay our welcome. So we moved somewhere else. We were living out of Walmart bags because we weren't allowed to get back to the house for quite a while. So Um, it was a bit of a challenge, and so we were trying to manage all of that, and uh, still, you don't shut down the church. You can't decide, oh, I just can't go to work today, um, because people in the community need the church then more than ever.
Right.
So we were trying to take care of family and manage the church, and we wound up kind of being a hub of activity in the community where volunteers came through our church to get connected with folks in the community who needed the help. Um, and so we learned a whole lot through that process. And then it occurred to me that this is the way it happens in every disaster, that the community that's affected, whether it's a tornado or hurricane, whatever, every community that's affected by a disaster has to start from scratch, just like we did, and learn and figure out, where do we go from here and what do we do? And so I started thinking, if we could put the lessons that we learned in a presentable medium of some kind of book, then maybe we could hand that off to the next community, save them a little bit of time and heartache if they could get a jump start on their recovery. Recovery's still going to be hard. There's no way to make it easy. But if we could help them avoid the time that it took just to learn, just to figure out where we're going, then they would get to their process of healing a little faster. So that's where it came from. We had a terrible experience, and I've just kind of always felt like that the worst kind of pain is the pain with no purpose. But if I can turn my suffering into some way to help somebody, it adds purpose to it and gives it some kind of meaning,
Right. Yeah. Some context for folks. West is a pretty small town, actually, isn't it? I mean, it's right on I-35. It may feel bigger than it is because it's stretched up and down along 35 north of Waco a ways, but fairly small town, fairly up north-south. So plants a little bit off the interstate, but when you talk about, the impact that affects the entire city, the entire town there.
Yeah, it really does. We're a small town. Since we're West Texas, folks often get confused about where we are.
Yeah.
We're not in West Texas, the region. So we kind of jokingly use the nickname the comma. We're in West comma.
Nice. I like that. I never heard that. That's great.
Right. So that, trying to avoid some of that confusion. But we are a small town. Population is 2,800.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that. Okay.
And it's kind of the interesting thing about the night of the disaster, according to the emergency management office here in the county, we had almost as many first responders in our town that night, almost as many as the total population of the town. Folks from all over Texas showed up to help us out. It was amazing.
We showed the book along the way when we were producing it and publishing with a couple of friends, mutual friends of yours and ours. One of those is Eric Black of the Baptist Standard. He wrote a really wonderful endorsement. Said in 24 years of ministry, there's only been one book besides the Bible I've told the ministers they need to have, and now there are two. John Crowder's Anchor Point is a master course for facing major disasters that provides principles transferable to the more common tragedies that are part of every ministry. Every minister needs to be ready. And if you know Eric, he's not the kind of guy that would fluff that up. I think when he says there are two, I believe him.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. That means a lot coming from Eric. He publishes the state paper for Texas Baptists, and he speaks well. He knows what he's talking about, and so I was just very encouraged by his endorsement there, and they published a review of the book today on through the Baptist Standard. And
that just dropped. So if you haven't seen that yet, you can look around a little bit, find that review today. Really wonderful support for the book, and we're also seeing some great support from Rand Jenkins. You mentioned Texans on Mission. Rand Jenkins leads the On Mission Network and wrote a wonderful foreword for the book. This is one of the greatest strengths of Anchor Point is how it lifts up concepts often overlooked, and I would say hard-earned concepts, John. Crowder dispenses wisdom on important aspects of life and leadership, which are seldom taught, like the ministry of presence, the art of simply being there when words fail, or how to build a community that doesn't just survive, it helps others recover too. He reminds us that leadership after disaster isn't about having all the answers, but about being an answer, present, compassionate, and rooted. And John, Rand's been a support, John, already, and I know we're having some more conversations. This book seems like it's a natural fit for Texans on Mission and the work they do, and we're excited about Rand's support as well.
Yeah, that means a lot. Rand is a rock star when it comes to the disaster recovery culture and the community of disaster recovery people. And so to have for him to be willing to write the foreword of the book just meant so much. And I'm very hopeful that we can continue to work with the On Mission Network. Maybe we can have opportunity to do some training and use the book to help guide some of his folks or something. But that really means a lot to me, and I'm very, very grateful for his leadership and his kind words in the foreword.
Yeah. I want to take a minute to mention there's really two. You can buy the book anywhere. So when we distribute, it goes around the world. It goes to all the bookstores and Barnes and Noble. But stats show that people typically buy on Amazon or through our own direct site. And there's a difference there in terms of when people want to support the book, and when you talk to people about the book, if they're buying individual copies, we actually do recommend that people go to Amazon because it helps the algorithm and the ranking to do that. The more reviews, the more attention it gets, the more it actually helps the book. But the thing that Amazon can't do is bulk discounts. And so what we've set up on inviteministries.org is discounts. So you buy 20, 30 if you're teaching a leadership team, or if you're going through it as a small group, or if you're outfitting a church or a region. Say, for example, you wanted to support what recently happened in Kerrville, and so you'd want to buy 50 or 100 copies and send to a church down there. Best way to do that is to go to inviteministries.org, because we've got bulk discounts set up. So the more copies, then the more those kick in. So as we talk about here on launch day, Amazon is probably the best goal. But as people get into the book, start sharing it with other people and thinking about buying bulk copies, that's what we've got our site, inviteministries.org, set up to do.
That's good. I'm glad to know that it helps to kind of know the best way to direct people as they have those conversations. But you mentioned Kerrville, and I'm very hopeful that this is one of the ways that the book might be used is a group of pastors who are working together in a local community might get together and talk about the book and hopefully find some strength from the book and be able to encourage one another. So Kerrville might be a perfect example of that, but that's always been kind of one of my dreams. One of the purposes of the book is to help local leaders kind of encourage each other and learn from the book together. So I'm hoping it will become a corporate experience for leaders.
That was my last question actually to you, is just I wanted to hear about hopes and dreams and what would qualify this as a ministry success in your mind.
Well, I think the ministry success would be if it really does help somebody along the way. That's been the drive from the beginning, is not really just to tell my story, although I use my story kind of as the backdrop throughout the book. It is intended to stay kind of in the background of the content. So my primary purpose is not really just to tell my story, but I'm very hopeful that we can take some of the stuff that we learned, and then I've worked with other disasters since then and learned from them. And I've had opportunity to talk to some disaster relief experts and learn from them. So I wanted to put all that together and just be some kind of help to somebody down the road. And so, that's going to be the success. If there's somebody who's hurting, who can find some hope because of the words on those pages, then I will have accomplished what I believe is my calling from God to do that.
I love that, John. That's a great final word. Anchor Point. Here it is. Congratulations on launch day. We are so excited to partner with you and look forward to all the ways that we're going to get to witness God use this resource to help change our hearts, lives, and communities.
Man, I hope so. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate all y'all have done and appreciate the opportunity to visit with you today. Thank you, buddy.
All right. Talk soon.
Okay.